Hi Starseeds, welcome to day 8 of my 9-day Instagram TV series challenge, where I'm bringing through higher wisdom, inspiration, and empowerment to your spiritual journey to help you along your way. My name is Trissa Brenna, and I'm an intuitive spiritual guide. I'm here to help you navigate the course of life, expand your consciousness, and connect with your spirituality to discover your true self. So if there's ever any time you want to work with me, one-on-one coaching is what I'm opening up availability for. There's a link to that in the description box below. Sorry, it's been a long day of talking. Today, what I wanted to talk to you about is energy clearing, because it is super, super important, especially if you're an empath, if you're intuitive, especially if you're a healer. It's not good to take on other people's energies, even when we're not even aware of it. Transference of energy is a real thing. Look it up on the internet. It happens in an unseen, to the unseen, naked eye. So it's a real thing, and it can influence you. It can. The most obvious one is by mood. It can, it's just a little heaviness that does not necessarily need to be part of you and part of your experience. So, and as a disclaimer, some of these things will not, sync up. Maybe it won't work for you as effectively as me. It just all depends on the way you're wired and where you're at in your soul evolution. We're all different, and we all have different soul lineages. So, but these should, in theory, I think, work for anyone, especially if you're resonating with me and my channel. I would like to defer to the law of attraction to a trust that you are hearing this message because you need to, that you may benefit from it. Okay? So I kind of briefly grazed over why we should, clear our energy. Why it's important is because we're more energy than we are physical form. So mainly what happens behind the scenes is we are prone to picking up on other people's energies and absorbing them when they're not our own. And that does not necessarily serve us well. Another thing is we can still be holding on. We can hold on to stale, stagnant energy. Humans, man, we just have the propensity to hold on to things, especially if they're no longer serving us. Let it go. So that's another reason that this practice is super important. Like, I would highly, highly, highly encourage you to, whether you use these practices and these tips I give you, or find another teacher, another modality that works for you, but to do energy clearing on the daily. Meditation is, I would not consider that energy clearing, because my understanding is that you move energy through intention and thought. Meditation is the opposite of that. You're being, as opposed to, being a magician. And you'll see why I said magician in just a second. So it's just as important as bathing, and by doing so, what you will experience is it will feel like you are refreshed and renewed. You will not be so muddied around with other influencing energies or things that are kind of tying you down. Yeah. If some of you are runners, it kind of feels like, to me, what it feels, that feeling post-run, that post-run high. Just like released all that stuff through sweat and through running, and maybe jamming out to your music. You're just high vibing and purity, I guess, is the good way to distill that feeling, is to restore the purity of your soul essence. All right. So now we got through the why. Let's run down these exercises. There are about 5 or so. This isn't even this just scratches the surface. It doesn't even go into in-depth chakra healing. It can be a whole separate session. Okay, so to begin, first, I cut cords. What do you mean cutting cords, you might be asking? Well, we again, as humans, we just have the propensity to attach to other people, to other energy. We do this on a subconscious level. We just do it. It's natural, and others do it to us. Especially if we're prone to patterning of codependency, this can be something to constantly be releasing. You may not even be aware of other people who've attached themselves to you, but it can affect your field. So it makes sense to cut those cords, especially the overlying intention here is to cut anything that is no longer serving you. Okay. I will have a nice little download for you, kind of like a show notes, if you will, because I have specific mantras that I say as I do them. I'm gonna come back to that because it's like a full-on, it's like a full-on long prayer, if you look at it that way. But I'm first gonna just run through the techniques. So the second thing is releasing foreign external energies. This is slightly different than cords. Cords can also be attached through trauma or through disagreements, especially if they're unhealed, unforgiven, that kind of thing. A cord can be there. The releasing of foreign influencing energies refers to any other external energies that kind of like residue, if you will. It's really hard to describe some of this stuff when I just see it in my mind's eye. It's kind of like residue. It's just there. It's hanging out. You don't need it in your aura, in your field anymore. So releasing any foreign influencing energies that you may have called in, or that you have somehow held on to, or that have attached themselves to you. It's just not needed. Third thing, to release, this is really big and can probably be done multiple times throughout the day, but to release any negative and stale thought forms and energies that no longer serve you. That is the general idea. And this doesn't require a lot of fancy movement or anything. There's a powerful mantra that I use that like I said, I will share with you. That's the third thing to do as you're running through releasing and removing any influencing energies that are not of your own divine resonance. Number 4, I like to acknowledge my aura at that time, and to also do a specific clearing in that. It's kind of like working from the inside, then out. Cords happen on a deeper energetic level, and then like sometimes our emotional body holds on to those negative stale energies and thought forms. Crown chakra can kind of like get muddied by it, affecting our ability to receive our intuition, and and then finally your aura can be cleansed and cleared. Then the fifth thing, this is, if I have time, I go through this next part, is to do a little bit of chakra work, to first acknowledge them, and through affirmation, I align them in perfect rotation and perfect alignment. I have some hand motions that work for me, and again, I'll go through those, but chakras are another thing. And then sixth and final, if you want to tie a bow on it, and as a bonus, is to... Sorry, I'm trying to read my handwriting. Okay. The last one is if you're definitely feeling more weak and like lost, confused, just something's off on a fundamental level from you. It could be that you have aspects or pieces of yourself scattered, and maybe in other locations. I know that might sound really far out and bizarre, but it can happen. And sometimes there's purpose as to why you did that on a soul level, why you chose to do that, why it happened. Again, sometimes it can occur through trauma. Sometimes it can fragment to serve you. There's multiple ways, but I would highly recommend that you call back all your energies so that you are whole, okay? And not fragmented. Okay, so now we got the overview of the many different things we'll be clearing. Let's run through a little mock clearing. Again, I will have a nice little download or worksheet, something for you to use as a guide, and it'll be in the link below. So be sure to check that out. And feel free to take any liberties with this that apply to you and make it more effective for you. Do whatever you feel called to do. All right. So first, cutting cords. I just say it like this. I'm releasing any and all cords and external influencing energies that are no longer serving me. I do this like cut cord thing right at the solar plexus. That's the region that you want to kind of do this like chop front and back. Cutting in any and all cords that have attached themselves to me or that I may have inexplicably attached myself to. Number 2, I am releasing any and all foreign energies that are no longer serving me and my greatest, highest good. Any and all influencing energies that are no longer needed, I am fully releasing. So as I'm doing this, like I said, I'm working from the inner and the outer, from my inner core to the outer layers of my energy bodies. So I am picturing, if you're a visual learner, if the visuals really help, what I do is I kind of picture moving energy out, like slowly, just kind of casting it to be suspended around me, just kind of like pushing it out. It can stay right there because I'm going to do something with it in a second, but just releasing it and parking it there. So this is when I start to visualize that happening. The cords, I imagine those just being cut, chopped. And then as I'm releasing foreign influencing energies that no longer serve me, it kind of looks like gray, sometimes different muted colors, and sometimes I'll explicitly say any and all foreign influencing energies that are not serving my greatest, highest good, with the exception of my guides and archangels. They definitely can be can be in my aura, in my field. Please take all the help I can get. But I want to discern what energies I'm allowing, what I don't, because this is free will planet. We are dictating everything through our own, we're calling the shots. So that's why it's very careful. You have to be very careful of your words here, kind of casting spells, if you will. Not literally, of course. I would not do that to you. But the third thing, and kind of spinning off of this, is now I release any and all negative, stale, lower vibrational thought forms and energies, aspects of self, or thought forms and energies that are no longer serving me from all dimensions and all levels and all aspects of self. Very important to be very specific about all. I'm just thorough. I'm very thorough. I want to do this once, call it good for the day. So again, as I'm doing that, I'm just pushing it all out, like the energy. Next, we're going to get to our aura. So Sorry, I have to kind of like remember what it says in my brain. I'm cleansing and clearing all aspects of my aura, completely purifying my aura free of any negative influencing energies, any foreign energies that are not of my own divine resonance, to be released now. Now that we have this cloud around us of negative, stale energies, everything that we just released, there's a reason I left it out there and to suspend it. It's because now we're going to transmute it. This is where you become the magician and turn it into bright, white, loving, unconditional love. And then we're going to give it back to Gaia and or push it out into our neighborhood, blessing those that may come in contact with it. It's because energy, it's directed to where it's being told, kind of. Not all, that's not a blanket statement across everything, but you can't like simply control a cloud by looking at it. But there, in this case, yeah, you can. You can certainly transmute it. And I like to think that while I'm doing it, I might as well give it back into the cycle of the universe and to help it uplift and cycle around more love. Okay, so with our cloud of negative stale energies, again, they're not bad. They just are lower vibrational. We're going to transmute it into higher vibration. I want to add a sidebar that a prerequisite to this is a really good solid knowing and feeling of what unconditional love is, because you're going to use that as an anchor to transmute it. Meditation is a good way to get through that and or to achieve that feeling, or you may have experienced it in other ways. You can always reach out to me and I can give you some tips. But okay, so we have our clouds, or our suspended lower vibrational energies. And then we are simply going to say with solid intent, I am transmuting all negative, stale energies, all this energy into the highest vibration of love and oneness. I honestly give this a little bit more intention, like a little bit more channeling thought, until I visually see it all like beautiful rainbow, bright, white, sparkly goodness. And then when it's in that state is when I'll do one of two things. I'll either just give it back to Gaia, send it down to heal her. She knows what to do with that energy, or I will ask that it goes out into the universe, out into the air, I guess, and to bless all that come into contact with it. So even running through that, I didn't even run through it in full practice. I just kind of just running through it in demonstration mode. I already feel like so much better and cleared. So let me know what you think about this. If these tools, if these techniques and tips help you, if there's anything you would add to what you do in your daily energy clearing practice, I would love to know. And I will also see you in the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please always like, share, and subscribe. Again, if you want to book a session with me for one-on-one coaching, if you just have some questions, feel free to reach out. You'll have some information for that below. Thank you so much. Mwah. Much love.